Experience the unique rhythm of a 1970s British Sunday evening, a time of quiet rituals and shared anticipation. It's 5:10 on a Sunday afternoon. The football results are scrolling across the screen, and your dad hasn't blinked in 4 minutes. A Pools coupon rests on his knee, and silence reigns. Somewhere in the house, a subtle shift is taking place. The weekend is fading, Monday looms, and every household in Britain senses it. This was the essence of a Sunday evening back then, not quite the weekend, not yet the week. A peculiar time with its own atmosphere and quiet unease. If you experienced it, you know the scent of shoe polish, the sound of hymns you didn't select, the bathwater your brother left behind, and that sinking feeling in your stomach that even tinned peaches couldn't fix. It all began with the teleprinter, its text scrolling across the screen on BBC's grandstand just after 5:15. Football scores arrived one letter at a time. Silence enveloped the room. Dad leaned forward, pencil poised, matching each score to his Pools coupon. The teleprinter's mechanical clatter was the only sound permitted. No one spoke, no one moved, no one dared change the channel. This was serious business. It never changed anything for your dad, but during those 6 or 7 minutes, as the scores appeared and the teleprinter clattered, every living room from Glasgow to Gillingham shared the same hope. When the final result emerged and the coupon was stashed away with a sigh, something shifted. The weekend was officially over. The atmosphere in the house thickened. Dad leaned back, the television continued, but the energy had transformed. Sunday evening had arrived, and everyone felt it. By 5:30, the table was set for Sunday tea, distinct from dinner tea. Every British family understood the difference. Sunday tea was lighter than the lunchtime roast, simpler, yet still significant. The tablecloth was laid out, the good one, slightly formal, even for just the family. On it appeared the same spread found in kitchens nationwide, tinned salmon sandwiches. The pink fish from a flat tin, mashed with a fork, a dash of vinegar, spread on white bread. Crusts on or off, depending on how posh your mum felt. Cucumber sandwiches for a touch of extra elegance. Perhaps, if the family felt adventurous, a Vesta curry made its way to the table, offering a taste of the exotic. In 1970s Britain, this meant nothing more than adding boiling water to a packet of brown powder and imagining oneself in Delhi. Yet, it was the dessert that truly held sway. Tinned fruit cocktail presented itself with pale peach slices, small cubes of pear, half grapes, and those vivid red cherries that bore little resemblance to the real fruit. All of this was poured into a glass bowl, bathed in rich, sweet, and cold carnation evaporated milk straight from the tin. The milk mingled with the fruit, turning a faint pink from the syrup, and everyone reached for the cherries first. On a special occasion, perhaps a bird's trifle from a box or a Swiss roll dusted with icing sugar would make an appearance. But typically, it was the humble tinned fruit and evaporated milk that graced the table. And truth be told, it was perfect. Tea was consumed with a calmness that contrasted the earlier lunch. Conversations were subdued, as if everyone sensed the inevitability of what lay ahead. Around 6:30, the evening ritual commenced. A routine that every British household adhered to on Sunday evenings, whether they embraced it or not. The preparation for Monday was underway. It began with the shoes. Newspapers were spread across the kitchen floor. A tin of cherry blossom shoe polish was pried open with a coin or thumb. Black for school shoes, brown for Dad's work boots. The distinctive waxy, sharp scent filled the air. The brush dabbed into the polish, worked into the leather in small circles, then buffed with a cloth until a reflection appeared. Each family had their method. Dad polished his own. Mum took care of the children's. The eldest child assisted, feigning indifference, secretly resenting every moment. As the shoes dried, the ironing board emerged. Steam rose from shirts and school uniforms. White shirts for school, work shirts for Dad. The aroma of hot cotton lingered, and occasionally, a faint scorch mark appeared when the iron lingered too long. Looking crumpled for school was simply not an option. And then, predictably, at 7 o'clock, the homework panic ensued. The project due Monday morning, known about since Wednesday, ignored through Saturday and most of Sunday, suddenly demanded attention. The dining table became a chaotic scene of sugar paper, Pritt stick, felt tip pens, and mounting panic. Mum stood watchfully, while Dad pretended not to notice. The clock on the wall ticked with an unusual intensity. As the household buzzed with activity, the television played its role in the background, marking the passage of time. Each program was a clock, ticking away the remaining hours of Sunday evening. Songs of praise began the lineup, its hymns and camera pans over churchgoers setting a solemn tone, even if it wasn't a family favorite. Yet, it was a staple, filling the room with organ music and a sense of the inevitable. The evening continued, lightening briefly with The Muppet Show, if you were lucky that week. Kermit, Miss Piggy, and Fozzie Bear brought laughter before the mood shifted again. The Wundin line, with its stirring theme and images of tall ships, transported viewers to another world, even if the plot was a mystery to some. Then came That's Life with Esther Rantzen, where talking dogs and bizarrely shaped vegetables entertained both kids and adults, a last burst of laughter before children's bedtime. Esther's grin and her team's quirky stories offered a temporary escape from thoughts of Monday. For the adults, the evening continued with a Sunday night play or classic drama, perhaps a Dickens adaptation or a gritty BBC production, serious viewing for when the house quieted down after the children went to bed. But the Sunday night ritual wasn't complete without the bath. This national tradition demanded the immersion heater be switched on well in advance, its red light a sign of money and time. Forgetting meant cold water and complaints, so timing was crucial. Patience was key, though not a strong suit for children eager to delay bedtime. As steam filled the bathroom, the ritual unfolded across Britain, marking the end of the weekend. Rivulets of condensation trickled down the bathroom walls, the window dripped steadily, and the mirror was completely fogged. You entered the bath, sometimes alone, sometimes squeezed in with a sibling, because hot water was a precious commodity, and wasting it was as frowned upon as leaving the back door open in the dead of winter. You'd share the tub, top and tailed, one at each end, bickering over space, whose feet were where, and splashing water onto the floor, much to your mother's dismay when she discovered the mess 20 minutes later. The soap was Wright's coal tar, a deep brown bar with a potent scent that could practically cleanse drains, or perhaps it was the translucent, slippery Pear's soap. Whichever it was, you scrubbed diligently until your skin turned pink, ensuring every nook and cranny was clean for the start of the week. The bath mat felt damp beneath your feet, and the towel was always a bit too small. Stepping out of the steamy bathroom into the hallway brought a chilly rush of air. You moved quickly, no time to linger, as the rest of the house was far from warm. Out of the bath, wrapped in a towel, you donned pajamas that had been warming in the airing cupboard, a tall space built around the hot water tank, where towels, bed linen, and tomorrow's school uniform awaited. The pajamas, soft and warm, provided the evening's best moment. For a brief 30 seconds, everything felt perfect. Then it was off to bed, in a bedroom that, like many in 1970s homes, was utterly frigid. Central heating wasn't common, and single-glazed windows let the cold seep in. By morning, you might find frost on the inside of the glass, actual ice you could scratch with a fingernail, and see your breath in the air. Undressing was a trial, and getting into bed wasn't much better. The hot water bottle was your savior, filled from the kettle, slipped under the sheets an hour before bed, its knitted cover providing warmth as you curled around it, pressing your feet against its heat, gradually pushing the cold away. The bed warmed, and heavy blankets, not duvets, layered over you, woolen cotton tucked tightly at the sides, restricted movement but provided comfort. And then the secret weapon, the transistor radio, snuggled under your pillow, keeping you company without alerting your parents. With the volume turned low, you carefully adjusted the dial, searching for that elusive station. Radio Luxembourg, 208, was your gateway to the stars. The signal, often crackling and faint, made its way from the continent.